Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow were the infamous American outlaw duo who struck during the Great Depression. They became known as celebrity criminals due to their actions catching the attention of America, especially during the Public Enemy era. Bonnie and Clyde were ambushed and killed in 1934. Their reputation lived on due to the 1967 film depiction of their exploits. Much like when they were alive, the image of them presented in the media was much different than the reality of their lives. Bonnie and Clyde met in the home of a mutual friend. Bonnie was making hot chocolate in the kitchen while Clyde stopped by to visit. Both were left love-struck after their mundane encounter. Bonnie, however, was already married to Roy Thornton. The two never legally divorced, and Bonnie still wore his wedding ring up until her death. The film portrays their first meeting as Bonnie confronting Clyde after the latter attempts to steal her mother's car. The two then make their way into town where Clyde informs her of his criminal background and robs a grocery store to impress her. The two are still instantly smitten with one another. The film does mention the fact that Clyde severed two of his toes while in prison camp in order to avoid hard labor. The fact that he murdered an inmate that sexually assaulted him was not mentioned, despite it being Clyde's first killing. Also, the prison trauma occurred after meeting Bonnie. Frank Hamer, a Texas Ranger, is portrayed as a victim of humiliation at the hands of the Barrow Gang. They take belittling pictures with him with the intention of sending them to the press. After he spits on Bonnie, Clyde attacks him and pushes him into a boat, setting it adrift.
You and Bonnie first. Now, get right in there. Now, go on, friendly like it, you know. When his Texas Ranger friends see this, you're gonna wish he was dead.
Well, we're mighty proud to have a Texas Ranger in the family.
Hold it, hold it.
How's this?
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm getting it. Wait, hold it.
How about that?
You. Oh, hold on now. I got the picture. I got it. I got the picture!
We're gonna put that picture in every paper in the country!
We got you!
The real Frank Hamer was a renowned Texas Ranger who never met Bonnie and Clyde. He was forced out of retirement in order to track them down and was one of the officers to finally take them down. His family sued for defamation of character due to his film depiction. In the film, one of their earlier exploits involves robbing a grocery store. The confrontation between Clyde and the store owner results in the owner becoming gravely wounded while Clyde escapes. Later, the store owner identifies Clyde when shown mugshots of different criminals. In reality, the two did rob a store, though the owner was shot and killed by other members of the gang while Clyde waited outside as the driver. The owner's wife later identified Clyde as one of the shooters despite him staying outside during the affair. Their actions were often interpreted to be similar to those of Robin Hood, to take from the rich to give to the poor. In the movie, they are shown having pity and compassion for the poor, especially to those who lost housing or money due to the banks and the Depression. In reality, they stole from those who were not very rich, such as owners of gas stations or small stores. Their motives were neither altruistic or greedy. They were imprisoned numerous times for their crimes, though the film never shows any of their arrests. The film makes no reference to the horrific car accident which occurred, in which Clyde missed warning signs about a bridge under construction and caused the car to flip into a ravine. Bonnie suffered from serious burns to one of her legs, leaving her disabled. Bonnie and Clyde were ambushed and killed on May 23, 1934, on a road in Bienville Parish, Louisiana. Melton's father distracted the two by placing his truck so the two would have to change lanes, closer to the awaiting gunmen who opened fire on them. In the film, it was Moss's father who agreed to turn them in exchange for his son's sentence being lightened. The film depicts Clyde unarmed as he is shot outside the car, with Bonnie still within the car. In reality, the two were seated in the front seat, armed with guns and other weapons when they were shot and killed. The miniseries also twists the lives of the outlaws. Unlike the first film, Bonnie's marriage to Thornton is a plot point, as it is her wedding where she first meets Clyde. She harbored dreams of becoming a movie star, even sending pictures of herself to Hollywood only to get rejected. Unlike in reality and in the 1967 film, Bonnie is portrayed as a ruthless and selfish woman who desires attention and fame. Clyde, on the other hand, is portrayed as being clairvoyant due to a near-death experience in his childhood, having visions of his future and his ultimate demise. In reality, there were rumors of Clyde being psychic due to his uncanny ability to avoid the law. The miniseries miniseries creates PJ Lane, a reporter who covers their story and is visited by Bonnie to ensure that they are known as Bonnie and Clyde, taking offense to her recognition in the paper as only Clyde's female companion. In reality, Bonnie and Clyde never spoke to any reporters as a search for fame.
Oh, I'm not criticizing. I just, what with all the foreclosures and woes with the stock market, it seems like people could stand a little less black and white truth and a skosh more being entertained.
What are you doing here?
I'm just a fan. Oh, I gotta say, I was surprised when I found out PJ was a woman. You always called yourself PJ? Or was that your boss's idea? Stop your readers from finding out you were Patricia. Maybe it's just me, but seems like things are really moving forward for our gender. What with that Amelia Earhart fixing to fly across the Atlantic, and you in the newsroom writing about crime, and me out there committing them. I couldn't help but notice you only put Clyde's name down. Nice of you to mention me only as female companion.
Wasn't my idea. My editor said if a girl was involved in an armed robbery, it had to be because her man was making her do it.
Really? Imagine that.
Would you please get out of my house?
Oh, yeah, sure. Sorry. Oh, goodness, PJ, I never introduced myself. I'm Bonnie Parker. Ally Bonnie and Clyde.
Clyde's traumatic experience at Eastham Prison Camp is shown, such as his assault from another inmate and the severing of his 2 toes. The miniseries succeeds at showing the preference of robbing small stores and gas stations as opposed to just banks, as well as breaking their image as Robin Hood-like criminals.